Well, I am crazy excited to meet with you today to talk about mediumship. Let's see. Good morning, Gan, Ann, Denise, Deborah, and another Denise. Oh no, I'm sorry. There's only one Denise, but she came in twice. All right. Um, I am speaking with Willow
It's
Nima,
okay.
Niemela. Niemela?
You did it right. Yeah.
Woohoo! Such
Yes.
an easy
That's
name. Yeah.
rare.
No,
Yeah.
I mean you
Niemela.
literally spelt it out for me. Niemela.
Yes, I know because people are like, how do you say it? Most people say Niemela. So
Well, even though you spelt it out for me in syllables, you never know where the accent is. I mean,
true.
my last name is Frasca, and people like Frisco, like the soda. I'm like, no. Oh my gosh, my maiden name was like three. It was a Lithuanian name, like 3 syllables long, and that one was a fiasco. I'm like,
Oh,
Lord, please let me marry somebody that has a last name 2 syllables or less.
right.
All right. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. I am super excited. We're talking mediumship today. My favorite topic.
Mine too.
Yes.
Yay.
And I am super excited to have met another medium. I've been, I searched Substack. I'm like, can we chat? Are you a medium? And they say they're a medium, yet they post about food recipes and all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm like, I just want to talk about mediumship, which is good. I mean, it's nice to have a rounded, post and notes and stuff. But, when you focus in life and you live mediumship, it's really nice to connect with another medium. So, Willow, I'm super glad that you're here.
I'm super glad you asked and that I'm here
Yes,
this morning. Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. All right. So, mediumship. Wow. I mean, I took a quick look on your blog and we'll talk about links and promos and all that stuff later. But I would love to get into the nitty-gritty of mediumship because I know, over the, years, when I was, finding my way through mediumship, I'm like, who can help me? How does this stuff work? You know, I mean, there's so many books, but they're a little fluffy. They're like, "Ooh, sit there and meditate and call in your guides and call in your angels." But there's a simple way of doing it. I am all about natural mediumship, which, it's a natural thing. Nobody has special abilities or special psychic stuff or special woo woo. We're all able to connect to the other side and have these experiences where we do so. But I know everybody does it differently, because I know how I go about my mediumship. And I'd like to hear you, engage with your mediumship. Like, what are you between rituals and what? I mean, these are topics, that we can, dive into more deeply. But I mean, how would you like to start off? Talking about your mediumship.
I think well, for myself, like I started really young. I started doing tarot cards, which was kind of the lead into exploring spirituality in deeper way. And I think like probably while I was doing those types of readings, sorry, I'm gonna grab my dog here who's trying to eat a bag. So this is
Uh
sorry. um while I was learning those things, right? And I would notice sometimes in readings, um, I thought spirit was coming in or different loved ones. But at the time, like I really didn't understand the difference between like a psychic reading versus, that we're actually talking to spirit, we're actually talking to a loved one who had crossed over. I really didn't have the training or understanding to know the difference if I was psychically picking up on memories of
Yeah.
this person or if I was, like, actually talking to the person.
Hmm.
So, I met probably about 3 or 4 years ago, I think spirit landed a lady named Micheline Clevenger on my doorstep, and she is a medium at Lilydale, but at the time when I met her, it was right before she moved there, and it was just a period of, like, 3-month window where she came to see me thinking I was a marketing person for some reason. And I'm like, "No, I'm a reader." And she's like, "What? I
Hmm.
am too." And she ended up talking to me, about mediumship just in and of itself. And she at the time was working for James Graham Frog, who is a well-known medium.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and just in that brief time, then she invited me to California to one of his workshops, which was like a week long intensive with James and a lady named Lynn Probert, who's an amazing medium out of the UK.
Have you met
And
James? Did you meet James?
yeah,
Oh, wow. Did you
yeah, it
meet
was a
his sidekick in the series The Ghost Whisperer, Marianne Lewinsky? I think I'm mispronouncing her last name. She's also in Ohio, and she was the um, medium also, along with James, for the Ghost Whisperer series, which I love. I love that series.
no, I do love that series too, but no, I did not meet her. But
Yeah.
it was it was great. I mean, it was a really great intensive, and taught some skills like, raising your vibration to communicate with spirit more clearly, right?
Hmm.
Um and then just the understanding of when we're talking to spirit versus psychic information, that was super helpful. So I think like that time period really helped me discern the difference, if that makes sense, between
Oh,
psychic and
definitely,
mediumship.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just. I'm sorry. I had to get my. Um. I mean, when working with spirit, there is on the mediumship level, and then there's on the psychic level.
Yes,
Two different frequencies, two different ways to pick up uh, information.
for
Obviously,
sure.
yeah, obviously, psychic level, picking up energy, and you can tap into feelings, and that kind of basic stuff. But when you go into the mediumship level, which is a little higher frequency, then you start tapping into the other side. Now, I know a lot of people want to know, as a medium, how do you tap into the other side? I mean, I know how I do it.
Mhm.
How do you do it? Do you have rituals, or how do you go about tapping into? Because these are all questions like a lot of people really want to know instead of picking up a book or going to Google. Speak to a medium.
Sure. I for me, I think that one of the most powerful tools is probably the sitting in the power meditation, um, which is, kind of centering, expanding your energy outward, grounding, so like connecting in with Mother Earth. Make sure, like I think grounding super important, and then raising your energy up and inviting spirit in. So as we think about like lifting our energy
Hmm.
up,
Yeah,
and then asking them to come in. Um, And just the biggest thing I think is feeling, like when their presence comes in, you can feel it. And then remembering that we can talk to them like, "Hey, can you come closer?" Or
yeah,
"Can't
yeah,
feel it, can you talk louder?" Whatever, just having the dialogue so that the information comes through clearly. But it's a simple, like, meditation that I think is really effective. Really, really effective for, like, being able to lift your energy upward.
yeah. And it really is simple because
It is.
back in the day, I'm like, whoa, what kind of hocus pocus do I have to do? Do I have to wear white? Do I have to light the candles? Light the
Right.
candles? Do I have to get crystals? Can I not eat meat for the day? All these things tests I put myself through. I think I have a post of it on my publication. All the things that I put myself through training. Uh, I mean, I had a mentor in the UK, but I basically trained myself with the help of spirit. And it's kind of funny because I asked for like 25 volunteers, and I said, "Okay, I'm going to do readings for you. Some are going to be awesome and some are going to be really bad because I'm putting myself through different variables to see which one works." Um, it's actually a kind of hi, Witching Willow and Deborah. Hello. Hello, everybody. We're talking mediumship today. So if you have questions, ask Willow or I. Um, so I mean, I did readings when 5 minutes before I ate a burger, when I was hungover, when I was sick, when I was tired, when I wore black, when I wore white, when I was grouchy, when I was happy. You name it, I put myself through it. And interestingly, is every single time I always connected with spirit, regardless of what I did. But the link was stronger, when your vessel is clearer, you know.
100%, yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
if I know I'm doing a reading, let's say tomorrow, today I will not have a drink, or I will not schedule anything for today. I'll try to just keep it calm and think about it, because spirit, they're like, "Oh, Donna has a reading tomorrow," and they already come in. I'm like, dudes, and they're just people, you know. Hi, Melissa. Melissa is here. Um, they're just people, and they get excited that they
mhm,
have an opportunity to speak to their loved ones. So I'm like, "All right, guys, I hear you. I know you're here." And they're like, "Blah, blah, blah." Sometimes I take notes. I'm like, "Okay, but you have to wait. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock is when you can speak to your loved one. You have to, there's boundaries, yeah, and you have to respect them, you know?
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard to I think, like, I try to not be on all the time like that because it is hard on the physical body to, like,
Mm,
always be on, psychically, so I think, like, being able to have a little switch or sort of doing some, like, "Hey, I'm not working right now," like you said, like, the readings tomorrow, is
yeah.
really helpful because they I think they are excited, and we have to our physical body, this work can be draining if we are constantly running energy.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think like the boundary or just that, just saying like, hey, this is when I'm working. I kind of when I go into my office or I tune in for the day, like, okay, I'm working, and then when I'm
I mean,
done,
not only is it draining, but for example, one day I'm out for a walk, just, walking, clearing my mind, and all of a sudden I see, a truck with tire marks, and I mean, so random. And when those random images come through, it's from spirit. I'm like, okay, I have a reading tomorrow, so spirit's already coming in to let me know how they passed. But I said I will note it, but you have to wait.
Mhm.
We have boundaries here. You have to wait. Just cool your pits, sit down, and wait till tomorrow. And they do, but it continues. It's just like putting a movie on pause and then picking it up the next day.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. No, but yeah. So I mean, I know that the most important thing about having a strong mediumship connection is the development in the clairs and the chakras. I teach classes as well. I know you do, and we'll chat about that in a bit. Um, if there is any advice that I would give for anybody, interested in mediumship, is to know your chakras inside and out. And most importantly, number one, the clairs, sharpen your senses. I work on my senses every day, every day. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's a challenge for people sometimes to feel into the body. So, like, I encourage people, like, what are you feeling? Right? Which is in our inner, if we go and think about our energy centers, it's also like, how is your body feeling when we are second guessing ourselves or overthinking? Like, we go up into our mental energy, right? And I say, like, hey, like, go back into what is your body telling you? Especially when it comes to psychic or intuitive information, we try to navigate this life that is really difficult and hard with so much going on around us
Yeah.
that our
Yeah.
human nature, I think, is to kind of try to check out. And this work makes you check in. So,
Yeah.
like, really deeply. And, to notice your clairs, like, everybody's wired differently, right? Some people have a strong clairvoyance, some people have, strong clairaudience. Um, or just that knowing that we get, right? The claircognizance of, like, I just know this to be true.
Yes. Hmm.
And I think, like, paying attention to that and then just and honoring it, like, "Hey, this is what we say my clair is telling me or my my intuitive sense is telling me,"
My
right?
spidey senses.
Right, and, like, just
Yeah.
encouraging people, like, everybody is wired differently, and that's okay. We all
Yeah.
get information in different ways.
Hmm.
Um, but I think the biggest thing is like, hey, what like our body tells us so much just intuitively, right? When we sense that's one of the biggest things for sensing when our loved ones come in or spirit
Yeah.
in general is that like knowing our own energy bubble and then when spirit energy comes in, it's much easier to feel. Like so when you do pay attention to your chakras, like Do I feel heavy in any one area, right? Is my throat feeling blocked? Does it feel heavy up here? Like, just kind of noticing those things without judgment, of course. I think just being curious,
Yeah.
like, where do I feel heavy?
Yeah.
Kind of breathing through it. That's why I think grounding's so important because we can breathe and kind of try to move the energy some or just name it. Sometimes just awareness, like, "Hey, my heart's really heavy today." Like, "What's going on? I need to breathe a little bit."
Mhm.
Stuff like that. I
Yeah,
think it's like
and yeah, and the clairs, spirit will like I am my strongest clair is clairvoyance. Always has been. Because I can see spirit, with my clairvoyant eyes. They say like a little
mhm,
movie that plays like 80% of the time. But the other 20% I can actually see spirit, which is super cool. I wish it would happen more. But what's interesting about the clairs or clairs is that they all work together. Not one, even though I'm clairvoyant strong, it's not it's not just my clairvoyance. Everything. And a lot of people they're not too clear about that. They're like, "Oh, I can hear spirit and that's my well, you know, all the clairs
right,
work together." But spirit will say, "Okay, she's a strong clairvoyant. I'm going to show her images, of what I'm trying to say to my loved one." And it's so helpful. And also, clairaudient, I can it's kind of funny, I mean, earlier, I was saying, how do mediums connect with the other side? That is, like, the number one question that I think is super cool and most people wanna hear. And literally, like, I could sit here and say, "Okay, I want to." I mean, with anybody in this group or you, I can just because I'm in a really good mood. I had a good day, so the vibe is high. So I could just sit here and say, "Okay, just close my eyes and say, okay, who wants to talk to Willow? Who wants to talk to Deborah?" And I would just close my eyes. Sometimes I will see an image, but sometimes, a lot of times, I get just like they're standing next to me and they talk to me. So a lot of times when I do readings, I put things in quotes. I'm like, "This is what your spirit person said." They'll just say, "Hey, you know what? Tell her." And it's so odd. They're like, "Tell her she put, too many onions in her sauce that last night." I'm like, and the more random it is, the more that it's coming from the other side. So I would say to the client, "Your mom said that you put too many onions in your sauce last night." And she's like, "Oh my God, yes, I made sauce last night and I knew it." But it's like, yeah, she's watching you. But so either I see it mostly, or they just talk to me. But
mhm,
what's super cool about seeing spirit, and this happens time and time again, when somebody will see spirit like in a reflection behind them or next to them. The second you turn around and look, they're gone. So don't do that. Just keep your focus forward. Know that they're there. You can see them either behind you if there's a reflection. But we all know that happens in movies all the time and happens in real life. The second's like, "Oh, there's a ghosty," and they turn around and they're gone. you know. Um, I was doing a reading once, and the spirit person, her name was Laura, comes up next to me, and I saw her in my vision, and I didn't turn my head, but I knew she was there, and she was angry, and she's talking to me like I'm talking to you. She's like, "I'm really angry." I'm like, "Okay, well, why are you angry, Laura?" She's like, "Well, my family's not talking to me." I'm like, "Okay, well, if you're talking to me, I'm a medium. I mean, there's a really good chance that you know that you're not alive, right?" And she was, like, a little confused. She's like, "What do you mean? I'm dead?" I'm like, "Yeah, which is why your family is not speaking with you because they can't hear you. They can't see you, and you're not alive. You have passed." But then I saw her, in my sights, and I saw that she had army boots on. So that told me she was in military, and that I started describing her. And here's where, another Claire comes in, like feelings and sense of humor came in. And all of a sudden we focus on her feet, and there's a bucket in front of her, and she kicks the bucket, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, "What are you doing?" She's like, I kicked the bucket, didn't I?" I'm like, "Yes, you did. You kicked the bucket. You're no longer alive." And then what was really cool is that, and this has happened, I want to talk to you about it as well. Do spirit people know that they're dead? Now, this varies from medium to medium based on dozens of mediums I spoke with. Some say, "Oh no," they immediately go to the other side, and a lot of mediums say they don't always know that they're passed. And so, in my experience, there's been like a handful of times when the spirit people, and I don't like to say dead people, it's very disrespectful. I never say dead people. Once in a while, I'll slip to be funny. It's like, oh, yeah, I speak to dead people, you know, but I'd rather not say that. It's very disrespectful. They are people and they're just not on our physical plane. So the pattern that I've recognized, and it's different for every medium, is that once a spirit person is passed and they realize they are no longer alive, then all of a sudden I see this really bright light, really bright, but yet not blinding. And it's always in the shape of a triangle and sparkly and white, and it just disappears. I've seen that. It's a pattern. And I don't believe anything until I see it myself and I see a pattern. If something happens the same way 3 or more times, then for myself, I know that to be true, you know?
And that could be spirit's way of showing you also, like,
Yeah,
"Hey, this is this
yeah,
is the signal that they've crossed," or, I think the universe works correctly, so I think, yes, if a spirit is still earthbound maybe for a little while and they are processing through that they died, right? Eventually, they know they died and they cross. I think, like, the universe knows what it's doing generally, so, as humans, I think we wanna,
absolutely.
like, "Oh, we're gonna help her," but, everything works as it should.
Yeah,
Um and I think when maybe she wasn't crossed yet, which is why she still had some feelings of anger, because in my experience, once on the other side, that doesn't anger and heavy emotions don't translate to the other
right.
side. That's human emotions, but
Yes.
it could be that she was still so close to the, earth realm that she was trying to figure it out, and you happen to be there in the moment to say, "Hey, yeah, you passed." And like
But not only that, Willow, is that, you are correct by saying once you get to the other side, all those human traits are gone. However, they need to retain those human traits of sense of humor, of being obnoxious, boisterous, or whatever they were, the way they were, the way the personalities were in life, so the mediums can identify
sure.
them.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think all of our human traits dissolve, right, when we I mean, because, I think they have to show us who they are when they come across, so,
Mhm.
so we know, like, we have evidence, like, yeah, this person was funny and they,
Yeah.
they had a red toolbox and,
Yeah,
you
but
know,
we as
what
mediums need to know that to
yes.
identify them. Um, I mean, this one reading, I was connected with somebody, a client, and I'm like waiting and waiting, and again, we're talking about, hi Kathleen, hello John. Uh, it's so easy to connect. You just close your eyes, you invite them in. I invite so and so's, loved ones, whoever needs to speak to them at this time. Let's connect. And that's it. So then I'm waiting and waiting. It's like crickets. I'm like saying to myself, you kidding me? How is this? How am I getting blanked right now? But then way, 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 way back in the distance in my sights, I see a little tiny man, just a silhouette tiptoeing away. I'm like, oh wait, wait, wait. I see you. I see you. Don't where you going? And then I see him stop. And then I just closed my eyes and I pulled in, the clairs. I'm like, okay, he's an older man. He's very shy because I saw him tiptoeing away. I'm like, I see you. Once I see you can't go away now. So I'm like, everything's okay. Come closer, talk to your loved ones. I understand you might be scared or shy, but that's okay. Come forward. So finally he came forward and sweet old man. And I said to the client, I'm like, your grandfather is extremely shy. And she said, oh yeah. I'm like, yes, he's here, you know, but oh, I just got chills. But I love how they come across to us with their personalities from when they were alive.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, because it gives the confidence that that's who we're talking to, without a doubt, and helps heal. So, like, when our clients that we, know that our loved ones are there, it's healing. Life goes on without a doubt, and that's proof,
Yeah. Now,
and that's amazing.
now this is kind of funny. Have you? I'm sure. Have you come across a welcome, Sloan? You're number 11. Woohoo! Have you come across a spirit person who was not so nice? And how do you deal with that?
Not really. I've come across, spirit people that maybe did things in their lives that they wish they hadn't have done, that they regret, or they weren't so nice in life. But when they come across, I feel like they're trying to, heal that or work on that, acknowledge that, sometimes apologize for that behavior.
Definitely.
But I haven't had that experience where once they're on the other side that they're still like they're not, that they're unkind or something like
Yeah.
that. I haven't had that experience, but I
Thank you
think
for the
like
hearts. I think that was from Sloan. Thank you for the hearts. Yeah.
I think like we all make mistakes. Some people do really hard things while they're here. When we leave, we know what we did. We feel everything. If
Yeah.
we caused pain, if we brought love, if we were compassionate, and we all have moments where we cause pain. It's the human condition. You know,
Definitely.
we
Yeah.
mean well. Most people mean well, but,
Well,
I
we're
think
human, you
we're
know.
human. We make mistakes. That's how we learn and grow, right? So there have been really hard relationships. And sometimes, someone will come through and someone's not ready to talk to that person because of the harm they caused.
Mm,
And I found them to be okay with it. They step back and say, I understand, like, and give the space for it, because some relationships are really hard and really can be really traumatic. Um, and they
yeah.
don't have to talk. Yeah, I think like we get the choice. Do you want to talk to this person or no? And if not, that is okay.
Yeah, and I wanna talk, about that in a second, but I just wanna go back, for a minute, to what I was saying. Um, every medium is different. Every person is
Yes.
different. So the spirit people that will go to you because of who you are different than the people who will come to me. I am very blunt. I am I have a very strong personality, so I can handle that. So um, the spirit people who come to me will be also the same because I'll go one on one with them. So, for example, I mean, it doesn't happen often, but every now and then, there's a youngster that comes in with foul language and being inappropriate and whatnot. And say, hey, listen, cut the crap out. If you do want to talk to your loved ones or not, I am here to help you, but you have to be respectful to me. Otherwise, I'm cutting you off right here. So either you talk to them and talk to me nicely, and we'll make this a pleasant experience, or I'm stopping it right now. And I have no problem doing that because again, they're just people. But some of them do have some of them do have attitudes, uh, and you know, um, you know, and it's interesting because before I was saying that there's a mediumship level and there's a psychic level. So I think sometimes when that happens, like, I mean, there's no way to validate it for myself, that, the mediumship level is higher vibration. And when you drop down to the psychic level, when that happens, you can pick up on whoever's around. So maybe, oh, I just got chills. So maybe in my case, that has happened that, my frequency, my vibration has dropped, and I just picked up on the spooks around me. And some of them were earthbound, you know, and some of them were just horsing around and they just interfered with my readings. So I need to work on that so I can discern, okay, did I just drop down to the psychic level and picked up on the entire, spirit realm, or did I stay in my mediumship mode and somebody with attitude came in? So that's
I
a
think,
really big thing to discern.
yeah, that's, I mean, possibly again, maybe some earthbound souls. And to make sure, I'm not sure what your personal practice is, but making sure you're grounding and like lifting your energy upward, because when you raise your energy up, right, you're raising your vibration up, right? And to connect with people that have crossed fully over. Um, and that way, maybe you are getting some static from earthbound. I
Yeah.
don't want to say earthbound, choosing to stay on the earth for a little longer,
Yeah,
souls.
and I've
And
had a lot of experience with earthbounds.
and
Mm.
protection for yourself, like protection is really important. So an aggressive, if there is an aggressive, like earthbound being, then they're not able to come into your, bubble.
I
Like
can
just,
see your aura, by the way.
oh, you can?
Yeah.
What
You are
color is it?
shining, girl. You are shining. But anyway, see, this is mediums are like doctors. Some doctors specialize in this and they do this. Some doctors are super nice and touchy feely, and some are very blunt. I don't do the protection thing. I I feel that it's fear based. Protect from what? I've been doing mediumship for a long time. I am 63. I've been doing Sloan says, do you see people's auras? I do. I don't know if Willow does, but yes, I do.
I can see the energy around people, but I don't see it in color.
Yeah.
So, I think, like, when I say protection, I mean, like, it's important to be able to contain your energy. If we think about, like, our energy bubble, not in a fear-based way, but in a way that, like, we're honoring our own energy bodies and, like, that's a boundary of where are we working? Where do we wanna work? Like, and not in a fear way,
Mm,
right? But in a, like, your energy is valuable,
yes.
right?
Hmm.
And you're allowed to say, like, "This is my container. This is what's your intention when you're working," right? I've been doing this a long time too, and I'm 52. So, just kind of noticing,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people who do this work don't realize it's important to protect your energy bodies, because we live in a very difficult world, right? We live in a world with a lot of hard things in it. Um, so just to think it from that angle, just like our energy is worth kind of, you know, protecting or saying like, "Hey, this is where my intention is. Where's my energetic boundary?"
Mm. I'll tell you this, Willow. I I'm probably not the norm when it comes to mediums because I don't do the protection bubble thing. I don't do. I mean, I meditate, but I want to show you a different way I meditate. Um, just about every day, I have a very strong connection with my angels. Very, very strong. I can see them, I can feel them every single day when I'm in the shower. I invite them to be with me, not for protection because I love them so much, because I see them. They help me and they're just like my team. When you're surrounded by angels, why do you need a protection? Oh my God, if I get any more chills, I'm gonna have to put a winter coat on. um,
Well, because our physical body, right,
mhm,
holds a lot of things. So, like, yes, I have my team. I don't, worry about too much, but also our physical body holds a lot of things. And just being aware of your energy bodies, right? Maybe
yeah,
it's a misnomer to say protection bubble, but,
yeah.
like, yeah, I feel fully protected by my team, my guides,
Definitely, yeah,
angels. There's
mhm,
layers of different beings that help us. I feel fully
definitely,
aware of that and
yeah,
also aware of, hey, when we all go through some type of trauma, we have to be body aware and energetic aware. And, like, I think the disconnection sometimes for people is that, like, not realizing, we're living in this human suit. We're a soul popped in here, and this
mhm,
body holds a lot of different emotions and things, and it's worth noticing where our energy bubble is living. Is it expanded? Is it internal? Where
yeah,
what are
that's
we
a good
doing
point,
just to help the body too, I think.
and it's, one I mean, I've taken many mediumship, courses, classes, and, the other, um, interesting thing is that based on, what you just said, our experiences as people,
Mhm.
uh, is how we're going to connect to the other side. For example, um, if somewhere along your lifetime you had, family trauma with somebody in your family, things went south really bad, whatnot, then the spirit realm on that side will say, "Ooh, Willow's had this experience. I'm gonna connect with her because she'll understand and she'll be able to." For myself, if I didn't have the experience, they go like, "Nope, Donna, she's not gonna be able to help me. I'm going to Willow." And so
Absolutely,
that is
yes.
huge. Based on the
Yes.
experiences that we have,
Yeah.
will be ex the spirit people who connect with us. I wanna say one thing, to what you had said before, about, um, the emotions and experiences that spirit people had when they were alive. Now, this will throw any medium for a loop, myself included, and in a mediumship reading, the first 10 minutes, and I would love to, know if you agree with this, is when spirit connection is the strongest. When spirit comes in and say, okay, Donna's connecting with my loved one. I have 10 minutes. The link is super strong, the first 10 minutes. And whatever images or things you pick up during those first 10 minutes, that is the message of the entire reading. Uh, you know, um, I did a reading once and I connected with someone's mom and I saw beautiful images of Christmas and presents and cookies and Santa Claus and all that other stuff. And the client was like, no, she was the most awful mother. None of that happened. I'm like, and I didn't back down. That's a no. When a medium gets a no, you're like, why did I just get a no in this reading? And that'll wreck any mediumship reading, right? When you get a no, it's like, and so, but now I know it's like, no, I am sticking with this. I am going to stick with it. So sometimes I have to back up and pull back for a second, make that link a little bit stronger, talk to the spirit person. I'm like, why are you showing me, pictures of, unicorns and lollipops when your life was awful and full of abuse? Talk to me. Stop working in puzzles and just talk to me. And the mom tells me, she goes, it's regret. I regret for it not being able to do that. But this is where mediums freak out is when they're like, oh, Christmas tree, bulbs. There's a one that is special and packages under, the tree for you and your brother. And she's like, no. Then the spirit person says, that's not what happened. That's what I wanted. And I am expressing regret. I'm like, that makes sense now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think no's are just let's go back and get more information, like you're saying,
Yeah.
ask for the clarification. I think some of that, and a no can be startling, especially like when you don't have a lot of experience to know, like,
Mhm.
hey, and let's not try to figure it out. Go back to spirit and ask, like, okay, like you said, why are you showing me this? And she told you. But, like, I think a lot of people immediately go to their mind and start thinking, like, you can feel your energy go up and go, "Okay, I'm gonna try to figure this out like a
Yep, yep,
puzzle."
yep, yep, yep.
It's not up to us to figure it out.
Mhm.
We like to know, to have the skill to know, like, "Hey, why are you showing this?" Which what you said, I think it's important to, you
Yeah.
know and I think sometimes too, clients, like, and I've done this myself in a reading where I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about." And they'll hit me later like, "Yes, you do.
And this
You
is
knew what
this
they
is
were
what
talking about."
happens when
Like,
I know.
sometimes just when you're in that moment, it's just like, I don't know, like, if that's clicking, and then later something will
You're
hit.
like,
So sometimes
you know,
when it's still a no, I always say like, "Hey, we'll put it on the shelf for a little bit and just, maybe it'll come later and we'll move
yes,
on."
yes. And that's, a crucial thing that if, anybody's studying mediumship to know that you will get no's. Absolutely,
Mhm.
100%. But don't freak out. Just excuse me, don't say, oh, put it on back burner and we'll get to it. Yes and no. Just hold that thought, for example, the Christmas tree, and let the rest of the reading take place, and it will eventually get back to the Christmas tree. Don't ignore it. Don't say, well, check with, so and so, see if it's true, or we'll just put it in the back burner. If a medium says, oh, we'll just put it on the back burner and think about it, then they're like, that's not really the best thing to do because spirit needs to talk about that. But it's I just sometimes wish you have to be a detective, right? You have to put spirit works in all these puzzles. And I said to my mentor once, I'm like, why could they just not say, "Hey, by the way, but," and just well, I mean, sometimes they do, for us, for me, but, it's working with puzzles and trying to figure it out based on our life experiences so we can understand what their life experiences were to tell their loved ones, you
Yes,
know? It's crazy.
it is.
Yeah.
It
So,
is.
alright, earlier, we were talking about, classes, and you teach mediumship development, psychic,
I do.
mediumship development.
Uh-huh.
So, and what is the outline for those courses? I mean, what are some of the bullet points that you teach that, is important for your students?
So I feel like, we do go over clairs, like we're talking about clairs, chakra, energy, like just I think at the basic, at the bottom, when we're just starting, I think it's really important to know your own energy, right? So tuning into know your own energy so well that when another energy bumps in, you know right away. And it helps, people like really feel like, oh, there's spirit or there's Uncle Bob, I know his energy, or whoever. Like when and people really don't know their own energy because we spend so much time in our heads. I mean,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and like it takes, teaching, like taking quiet space, um, sitting in the power meditation, and then just trusting, like, because things are subtle. I think a lot of times spirit's more like a whisper than a shout. And so, just in our daily lives too, not necessarily when you're giving a reading, but in our daily life, just like noticing those little nudges,
Mhm.
noticing, like validating that little voice, because I feel like our intuition is never going to guide us in the wrong way. We can argue with it, we can make a different choice and come back to like, "Oh, that intuition was right." I mean, we all do that. I did that a couple weeks ago. I was like, "Oh, I teach this and I still questioned it."
I know,
Like
I know.
sometimes I'm like, "What am I doing?" Because it's on our human nature to like question and
It's
think, and
crazy.
like it is
And don't you
crazy,
hate
but
it? Don't you hate,
that
like, when you do a reading and then you see something and your intuition and you skip right over it and you wind up knowing that that was a
right.
crucial point.
Like, "Oh, I should have said that." Well, and it's all learning. I feel like it's all learning, right, when
Yeah,
that happens. So, I just really encourage people to be curious about what's coming in and not judgmental, not hard on themselves, because our it's hard enough. So, like, hey, just be
oh,
curious
yeah.
about all you can do. I mean, because it's amazing.
I
And
think
then
the
the
number one advice that I would give to a person who's, developing their mediumship, trust. I mean, I think that's, like, one of the biggest
yes.
things my student says, "How do I trust myself?" And I mean, I've been there before where I would see something ridiculous and not say it, or a name or something, and it's better to say something that you sensed and be wrong than to sense something and not say it and be right.
Yes, 100%, just to lean
Yeah.
into it, and because more often than not, you're gonna get the validation that that was right. I mean, when
Yeah.
those things
Yeah.
come in, they're right, whether they make sense or not, because
Yeah.
something that's gonna make sense to my sitter, I might not know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not for me to know, I'm just the messenger,
That's
right? We're
right.
just
Yep.
bringing the message through, so to be willing to get out of your comfort bubble and, say that thing because that's what grows you too. I mean,
Yeah.
like, to your point, just take the chance and say it.
Yeah.
Because it more often than not, it'll land.
And a lot
And
of
then I
people
think
say, what is the difference between intuition and ego? And the thing of it is, at least for me, is when I see something, an image or hear something, and the more I get caught off guard, like, what the heck was that? That's how I know it's spirit versus, oh, well, this must, this Christmas tree, that would be ego. That's when the medium takes control of the whole reading. I was doing a reading once and I saw six top hats. I'm like, top hats. I mean, who even deals with top hats every day? But I at that point I was like, you know what? I'm just going to say it because I know anything that comes in is important to the spirit person and the sitter. So I just said, you know what? Your grandmother is showing me top hats, and she's like, really? I'm like, yeah. She said, well, I go, what does top hats mean to you? She says, well, at my wedding, all the groomsmen wore top hats, and there was six
uh,
of them. I'm like, oh,
oh,
well, grandma was there watching,
yes,
So
that's
it's sweet.
amazing.
Yeah, but any ridiculous, whether you feel something or sense or smell something, these are the clairs, you have to say it. And you could be wrong, big deal. But you
Mhm.
have to be able, just talk, keep talking. And the more you talk, when you're doing these readings, the higher frequency gets. So the more information that you pull in from spirit.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
So, all right, let's talk about actual spirit people. So, are you clairvoyant? Have you seen spirit people?
I see them in my mind's eye, right?
Huh?
And I
Clairvoyant, yeah.
have, a few times seen a being, like, spot on, but I don't usually see them, like, physically. I might see, like a little zip of energy or something, but a
Yeah,
full-on body I've seen, like, twice. So and I think because it takes so much for them also to manifest that way.
it does. Yeah.
Um, so that was a while ago in the reading, I was like, "Oh my gosh." The lady was kinda like, "This is what you do, right?" But I was like, he's, like, standing right there, I can see him." And he's like, "This is your
It takes
medium."
you by
Like
surprise. Yeah.
like, "Hey, yeah, I don't normally, like, see them dead on that way, but, it's very cool when it happened."
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, what was your question? I'm sorry. I, like, went on with that.
Well, you answered it, seeing
Oh, you
actual
answered it,
spirit
okay.
people. I'm gonna share a story that, I was at a, funeral home, painting a mural with a friend. Now, places like, churches, schools, hospitals, funeral parlors, any place where there's a lot of emotion, a lot of energy, that's where you're going to have these experiences. So, just my friend and I were there painting, this tree of life, on the wall. And when spirit gets close to me, I could, you feel it, and I get into like a daydream state. So my
Mhm.
friend goes, "Are you speaking to a ghost?" I'm like, "Yeah, just give me a minute." So I saw a older man, to the left of me, and I looked right at him because usually, like I said before, usually they disappear. And he's standing there in jeans and a flannel shirt, and I, saw his glasses, and I'm looking at him like, hello, and he's like, he goes, "I have a problem." I'm like, I'd say, I'd say so, and he's like, "Well," he goes, "Can you do me a favor?" I'm like, it that would depend on what I mean, we're doing this, I'm not speaking out loud. We're doing it through, thought. And he says, "Can you please tell my family that I don't want to be buried in a suit?" I'm like, "I can't do that. First of all, I don't know who you are. I don't know who your family is, and it's not my place to do that." He's like, "But I want to be comfortable." I'm like, "Sir, you're not alive, so I'm sure you're gonna be just fine with whatever your family chooses for." And we're, like, arguing back and forth, which is kinda funny. So, finally I said, "You know what?" And you talked about protecting your energy. I said, "I'm sorry, I can't help you. I have boundaries. I have energy to protect. I am here painting a mural with my friend. I am sorry, I cannot help you. So, I would appreciate if you, back off." And that was the end of that. Until the drive home, which was just 10 minutes away. So I'm driving home and I look in my rear view and he's in my back seat. I'm like, "You gotta be shit me." I say, "Sir," I go, you can't do that. You cannot like follow me home and sit in my back seat. I told you I can't help you. I don't know who you are." And then, he just disappeared. So then a few days later, I was curious to see who this man was because I saw what he looked like. I checked the obits, and the day that I spoke with him, he was not dead yet. He was in transition. He died like 3 or 4 days after I spoke to him at the
Wow.
funeral parlor. But
Okay.
Willow, that night, that day, I wrote rules and regulations for the spirit world because no, I mean, you're
Yeah.
laughing, but seriously,
No,
I
I'm
mean,
smiling like, "Yes."
like we're doing a live right now. I'm gonna say, okay, we're talking now. We're not gonna say any bad words. We're not gonna do this. You have rules and regulations for the clients and whatnot. So I don't know if anybody else does that, but I say, "Okay, spirit people," and I got a list and I put it by my end table. I'm like, "You cannot follow me home." Because I almost got in several accidents seeing people staying in the middle of the road. They were my guides or angels spinning right in front of me in my car, and I almost got into accidents. I'm like, "You can't do that," you know? And, in my bedroom. Once I'm in my bedroom, that's it. 9 to 5. I work 9 to 5. That's it. No ghosts in my bedroom or after 5 o'clock, unless it's a 911. If for some reason that it's urgent and you have to get a hold of me, of course, contact me. But for the most part, no, no. So, I tell you what, it worked like a charm. Right after I wrote the rules and regulations, it all stopped. Except I think like a day or 2 later, I'm in my bedroom. My husband was, away on a trip, and I heard a man's voice, "Hi." I'm like, clear as day. I rolled over, went to the end table, and I got my gun because it was that clear. and I'm at the door, locked and loaded, just waiting, and I see just the head of my uncle, and I'm looking at him, I'm like, "Uncle John, what are you doing?" He said, "Well, I want to say hi." I'm like, "Well, come in." He's like, "Well, no, you wrote that." I was like, "You're my uncle. That doesn't count," you know? And he says, "I just wanted to say hi." I'm like, "Okay, hi." Then I find out that day was his 13th anniversary of his passing.
Oh,
But that is proof that if you have rules and regulations, like I said, I'm very strong-willed, so I'm like, this is how it's gonna go, spirit people, or it's not gonna happen. We are in control, not the spirit realm. And don't get me wrong, there's been some feisty ones, but and they, took me by surprise, but I mean, I've seen a lot of crazy things, but never to the point of super shock, you know. I can just handle it,
right.
you know. So, um I mean, have you ever seen anything that was shocking, or before we were talking about protection, and I don't believe in that because I have 100% faith that I mean, out of all the mediums that I, myself included, that I know has been doing this 20 years or more, not ever. All right, I was pushed once and some of my hair was pulled, but it was nothing awful. There's never anything bad that has ever happened because it's the spirit realm, you know. It just I mean, these aren't like okay, I saw a gargoyle once in my kitchen, okay? It's like spirit shows me a little bit of everything. Okay, I'm gonna show Donna, like, amazing things and some kinda spooky things. I feel that, my life was a classroom for the spirit world where I experienced a lot of things, so I know how to discern what it is that I feel and see. It was, close to like, years ago, right before Christmas time, I was making cookies, and I had my little apron on, and I have my cookie sheet, and I see this nasty old gargoyle appear right in front of me doing inappropriate things. So I'm looking at him like, "Ew." I'm like, what are you? Who are you and why are you doing this?" But it was just a nasty energy that happened to be in front of me. But I'm just looking at him like, "You could be shit me doing this to on Christmas Eve, no less. I'm making cookies." I put my cookie tray down. I'm like, "This is what's gonna happen." I said, "You cannot do that to me or to anybody else. That is not appropriate, and that can scare some other people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap you in the most beautiful pink ribbon ever, and I'm going to send you to Source, and let Source take care of you. And because you're not going to go to my neighbor and scare them, you're not going to go to anybody else, and I'm going to let Source take care of it." And that's all you have to do. You know, that's all I do.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I think we're on Earth, so there's a lot of weird, hard energies here that we create generally. Like it's there's so much, hard things that happen here creates beings like that, negative and energies, right? But I think on the other side that you're right, it doesn't really translate to the other side. Like I don't have any fear when I'm working, or I don't have fear. Again, like I think like the way you're saying protection, like, I don't have, like, beings come in my house because I have the energy set so that they don't come in unless, again, like, families welcome, ancestors are welcome. But when you work with, like, setting your energetic boundary, it quiets that noise, which is probably what
Hmm.
I mean to say rather than protection. Because again, I
Yeah.
feel like have my team, I'm not worried about that kinda stuff, but we do live in a really intense world. Um and our homes where we need to rest, not be energetically bothered,
Yeah.
right? It's again, family is always welcome in my house, my guides, stuff like
Yeah.
that. But anything else doesn't generally make it past my boundary. Um, I think working like just kind of like just because we're in this intense environment, first angelic beings are on a very high
Mm.
vibration, right? And
Yes. Yes.
they are in and of themselves protection, like our guides. Um, but yes, I've bumped into ugly things down here or people that have had maybe some ugly energy attached to them. Um, I work in a collective. So, like, I work with some healers. Our office has, I work with Soul Centric Sisterhood. So we have energetic healers,
Mm,
um, some Reiki people, massage, just a really good blend of people there. And I know my business partner, Rowan, she's a phenomenal healer. And some of the stuff she's had to deal with, like to help people move some of that heavier energy away from them is big, because it is hard down here. There is a lot going on that's
mhm.
difficult on this planet.
And it's good to ask questions. Going back to mediumship, and guys, please, there's people here. If you have any questions, please, now's the time to ask. Um, Now, like I said, I've seen shapeshifters, gargoyles, people with no faces, like weird things,
Mhm.
and I've seen angelic beings. I've seen
Yeah.
all spectrums. And I'm in my guest room one day, just looking out the window, staring because I like to watch birds. Then all of a sudden, I see these pearls, dropping in front of me, beautiful, shiny. I'm like, oh, pretty shiny things. And Walter, my cat. And then all of a sudden, I hear, yeah, don't be fooled by the pretty shiny things, because sometimes the things that you see are not what they appear. So I'm like, wow. I go, good point. Then I took it one step further. I'm like, why do you show me that? And I'm like, okay, who is communicating with me? And I close my eyes and send it through my checklist, my clairs. What does it feel like? What, the person speaking to me, what does it look like? What does it smell like? Can I trust it? Do I feel safe? And if these are all good, then I know it's a spare person, a guide, or an angel. And they said, because we're training you. I'm like, whoa. I go, okay. And they say, we are showing you the uglies and the amazing things, and you need to learn which is which. I'm like, okay, well, thank you for explaining that to me.
Mhm.
I think we have a question. If
Okay.
you can see this, I apologize because it says I lost my connection. This is Denise. I'm going to try to get in. Thank you for, both trying. Oh, yeah. We see you, Denise. So if you have a question, go ahead. you know. But it's such a fascinating, fascinating. I think I read that on your blog that on Thursdays you have some kind of
I
class. What is that?
Yeah, it's a really fun, it's the last Thursday of the month, and we do a different topic every month. So sometimes it's mediumship, sometimes it's psychic development, just trusting your inner voice, different things. But I usually, it's usually like maybe 6 or 8 people. It's a
Mhm.
smaller group, and I do a little talk on something, do meditation, and then just some fun exercises to get people a little bit out of their comfort zone and
Is
kind of
that on
see,
Zoom?
like,
Is that on Zoom?
it's not on Zoom. I am going to start one on Zoom. It's in person right now, but
That's nice. Yeah, a circle, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and so it's been really fun to see people, like, kinda get out of their comfort zone and then, um, you know, be amazed when they get things right or, make a connection, like,
Yeah.
that is I love doing that because I feel like the more people that realize, like, "Hey, this is our superpower. This is something we do that's everybody has that's amazing, and you can
Yes.
grow it, and it can help your life amazingly. It will change your life the more you listen to it." Immensely, and it's just great. I love it, and it's only like $30. I just want people to have a space where they can do this that's affordable and, have safe, fun
That's a great
community.
idea, and it's so
Yeah.
important,
Yeah, I think
because again, it's like, everybody has these abilities, and not one is better than the other. Everybody
right.
again, I keep using doctors as an example. There's heart doctors, there's surgeons, there's podiatrists, there's every doctor has their specialty. Every person, whether you call yourself a medium, and I'm not a fan of titles, has a way or specialty that they can connect with, the other side or the loved ones, or even help each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's nice that you have that circle, where you can, help people develop that and feel comfortable, with because it's scary, going into, you know, and I do want to say this, back in the day, my awakening just peaked in 2014. I've been doing this my entire life. I was not the type of person when I was a kid, I had imaginary friends, but when I was 10, I had a really really bad case of measles. Almost died. And it was at that point, then after that all the stuff just unfolded with the dreams and the seeing spirit people in my room. I didn't know what it was. I was a kid thinking, oh, there's God, and he's talking to me. Or that was my first spirit person, was an ascended master. Talk about starting off big. But so it every lot of mediums, it develops when a trauma perhaps starts in there. It happens in life, whether it's an accident or childbirth or something, or it happens another way, like in my case. And I actually went to some type of doctor for this particular thing, because my dreams got so crazy intense that I went right to a shrink the next day. I'm like, what is this? And he specializes in younger people, children, younger adults, who are the artists, the musicians, the mediums, the psychics. And somewhere along the line, and this is in some cases, that they had a a sickness, that they had a fever, for a very high fever, for a length of time, and it kind of just activated a part of their brain, and that's what happened in my case. But again, everybody's different, but that's what happened in my case.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Crazy. you know. So, all right, so I think we're coming up on an hour. And do you want to talk about any of your websites or classes, or Walter? Come on, I can't want to jump up on me, or anything that you're working on, or doing.
I My website is, do you have, like, a link for it? It's willowniemela.com, and our group, the Soul Centric Sisterhood, is at the bottom of my website. So, we have a newsletter. We try to put out something. We put one out every month about, I usually do, like, a tarot card of the month, or we do a little
Mm,
writing, or, I'm in Columbus, near Columbus, Ohio, so any event we're joining or anything we're doing, we'll put in the newsletter. I also write on Substack, which I've really started doing this past year, which I really love.
isn't Substack the
And
best?
yes, I love it. It's
Yeah,
just it's a
I met so
cool.
many great people.
I know. It's a great platform. Um, and yeah, I have my class. I'm going to do an online. I am going to start an online group. My goal probably in the next month or two. Things have been a little crazy busy, but I'm trying to give platforms for people that's affordable and fun, and just gives access to doing something outside of your comfort zone to grow your intuition.
I would love to do something like that too. I
Yeah,
used to, yeah. I
it's
mean,
just great for people. I just really just to light that up in people, and I also think it's just so important right now. Like, "Hey, guys, let's tune back in
yeah.
to our center."
And the thing to remember is, like I said, every person is different. Every person comes from a different
Yes.
background, and there's no right or wrong way. I mean, just because you do one thing and I do another, it doesn't make it. I mean, that's just what we do as people.
Mhm.
But to connect to the other side, I think that I want to say is kind of universal. Where you have to be, like in a higher frequency, and it all boils down to love. Everything always boils down to the heart chakra, you
Yes.
know, where you can, connect with the other side. And, in my mediumship career, there's nothing more healing than to be able to connect with somebody, to deliver a message to the loved one that they have never been able to say before, or, I mean, even something as silly, doesn't happen often, but once in a while, to find things. A spirit person would say, "Hey, you know what? You know, you have to tell this person to find." I'm like, "Oh no, are we doing this?" And even though that I had never went on a treasure hunt before, I just do it. I'm like, "Okay, let's go on a treasure hunt. Fine. What do you want me to find?" And they're like, "There's a box underneath so and so's bed." I'm like, "Okay." Uh, so then I'll have to, amp up my clairvoyance and visualize and find this box underneath the bed. but also to be able to see what's in it so I can speak to the spirit person. So for everybody listening, there's nothing that you guys can't do. You're not going to know until you try. Um, Nothing bad's going to happen. It's super amazing when you step out of your comfort zone and hit a home run and something amazing and beautiful and healing happens. So just go for it, and the world of mediumship is amazing. And
It is.
I wouldn't trade it. I signed up for this. It's in my soul contract, and it's me to the T.
I
And
agree. It's
yeah,
absolutely amazing, right? The
so-
longer you go, the more amazing things that spirit shows you. It's you can't ever go back. Like
and
once the door is open,
yeah, yeah.
and why would you? But yeah, it's
But sometimes it
amazing.
gets overwhelming, right? And I will say this because there's times when I've seen spirit people and angels and everything in my house, and it was crazy. So I said, okay, guys, so for the people listening, either in the recording or live, that when this sector of your life, if you choose it, gets too much, you can turn it down. You have total control of everything. Like I did my rules and regulations, but also when thing gets too much, I visualize like a knob on a radio or something, and just turn it down, or
Yes.
a broom and sweep things away. But if it's too much for you, just say, okay, going back to the chakras, like I would, I could see my own chakras. And once my third eye was way big, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. And I would take it and like, ooh, let's get back to the size that you're supposed to be. So if it's too much for you, just turn it down. If it's not enough for you, you can also turn it back up when you're ready, you know.
Yes. Yep.
So super cool.
Exactly.
So, well, it was so fun to. I mean, I could go on for another hour, but I actually have appointments today and have things to do and super fun stuff. I'm going to keep an eye out for when you start your circle and like get to do more writing and such.
Thank
And
you.
it was super fun chatting with
Yeah, it
you.
was
Let's
so
do this
fun. Thank
again.
you for inviting me.
Okay, thank you everybody here who joined. And there weren't any questions, but I guess we answered everything as we went along, so that's good. So.
Perfect.
All right, Willow, thank you so much. You have
Thank
a good
you.
day.
Take care.
All righty. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.